Ever designed a landing page on WordPress and wish you could show specific content only to certain visitors? That's where conditional display comes in. It's by far my favorite feature that I almost always make use of and that for some reason doesn't get the recognition that I think it deserves. Let's talk about it. WordPress is a beautiful ecosystem to build your online business on, mainly because there's so many great tools, 60,000 of them to be precise, that can take your business to places that you can't even possibly imagine. If you need to sell online courses, you've got Thrive Apprentice for that. If you need to design beautiful landing pages that convert, you've got Thrive Architect. If you want to rock and roll the SEO game, all-in-one SEO is there for you. And I could probably spend 6 hours listing a lot of awesome tools that you can make use of for many different use cases. But instead of doing that, I do want to dedicate this video to talk about one feature that WordPress users that design their pages with Thrive Architect can benefit from: conditional display. Conditional display, as the name implies, allows you to modify the content on display on your pages depending on which conditions are true or false. For example, if you want to change the content on display on your hero section to show one thing to logged in users and a completely different thing for non-logged in users, this is something that you would handle with conditional display, right? You would have a condition which would check to see if the user is logged in or not, and then you would have different displays for all of your different types of scenarios. And to be honest, you can take conditional display as far as you want, because even though it's something that you have to use with Thrive Architect, like it's a feature inside Thrive Architect, it's also capable of reading information from other plugins like Thrive Apprentice. In fact, this is one of my favorite use cases that you've probably seen on many newspaper outlets out there. You click on an article, and when you go to start reading it, you can only read the first couple of lines until you get prompted to either join their membership or to, subscribe, become a subscriber, to continue to read the rest of the article. In fact, let's build this out really quick. All right, so here's what we're going to be doing. I've got a blog post here on my blog. It's a book review of a book called So Good They Call You a Fake. But I don't want to give people the opportunity of reading the full blog post. Like I said, I want to make sure that I only tease some of the content, like the first 2 paragraphs, and then I have a call to action to prompt people to buy my, to join my membership before being able to continue to read the rest of the blog post. So how do we do this? Well, first things first, we need to control how are people going to be or how are we going to be checking whether people can actually read the blog post or not? Well, first of all, they need to be logged in. That is going to be one of the conditions that we're going to be checking for. Is the user reading the blog post logged in? If they're not, then we're going to be asking them to either join our membership or to sign in. And then we also want to make sure, once we've confirmed that there's a logged in user reading our blog post, we want to make sure that they've successfully subscribed to our membership. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to jump into Thrive Apprentice, and we're going to create a new product. So here, let's jump into products, and we're going to create a new product. I'm going to call this Book Club. And I want this Thrive Apprentice product to unlock posts of category Book Club. All right, let's hit done. And now that we're here, let's actually configure the access restriction rules for our product. This is, what is going to happen if someone that hasn't purchased my Thrive Apprentice product tries to access one of those blog posts that belongs to category Book Club. So in this case, let's jump into access restriction rules, and under purchase protection, let's make sure that we display a custom content, and let's open up Thrive Architect so that we can actually edit the content, the message that we're going to be showing them. So, hey, you need to become a member to continue reading this article. And we're going to have a button here that says become a member. Okay. And let's just have another text element here that says, I'm already a member, login. Great. And login will be a link to a login page that we can create. All right, let's hit save. And now let's actually fire up my blog post with Thrive Architect. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy and paste my blog post. This blog post is essentially just made up of a simple text element. I've dragged and dropped a text element here in my canvas, and that's essentially it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag in a content box. And inside my content box, or for this particular content box, we're gonna have two different conditional displays. The default display, which is going to be made up of only these first two paragraphs. Okay, let's put it there. And I'm gonna get rid of some of these paddings really quick. All right, some line spacing as well. And here, let's select our content box, and we're gonna have two different conditional displays, right? We're gonna have our default display, which again is these first two paragraphs, and then we're gonna have one new display, which is going to be the entire length of the article. So we're gonna copy and paste that in here. Again, let's make sure that we don't have any paddings. Perfect. And now you can see how I'm currently customizing content box new display number 1. If we go into conditional display, let's edit this and let's do full article. Let's change the name and let's customize who is going to be presented with the full article. So we're going to create a new condition when user is logged in and user has access to Thrive Apprentice product book club. You're going to show them the conditional display full article. And every other user that isn't logged in and that doesn't have access to our book club Thrive Apprentice product is going to be shown only those first two paragraphs. And let's do a button here that reads, to continue reading, please subscribe. And we could even do a secondary text. Let's do only $5 a month or something. Perfect. So users that haven't been signed in and that don't have access to our book club Thrive Apprentice product are going to be presented with the first two paragraphs and a call to action to continue reading, to subscribe to in order to be able to continue reading. But people that do meet our requirements are going to be simply presented with our entire length of the article. And you could continue to customize the content box, right? I mean, you could perfectly well add in a different call to action. I mean, that's the beauty behind conditional display. You don't actually have to, you can customize your call to actions and upsell your members something different. You know, that isn't a membership that they've already paid for. So that's something really cool to consider and keep in mind. Please tell me down in the comment section below how you're using conditional display. If you are, or if this is the first time you're hearing about it, I think it's a truly revolutionary and very powerful yet very promising feature that, serves many different use cases and even more to come soon. I truly appreciate your time and I will see you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.